Oh, why am I so tiny? Hey up, it's Steve. No, but that's better. Hey up, it's Steve, the old Yorkshire Geek. Welcome to part 12 of my series, which is my thoughts on every episode of classic Star Trek. That's Star Trek from. Sorry, just Wingrace, come on. What's he saying? Where is it? There we go. Google phone and macro bar ads. Neat. I have no idea. Where were we? Every episode of classic Star Trek, so that's from the original series all the way up to Enterprise. I'm not doing the new stuff, but we're doing classic, proper Star Trek. We've done the original series, we've done Next Generation. Now we're up to Deep Space Nine, season 1 of Deep Space Nine. So this should be fun. I'm not the biggest Deep Space Nine fan. I do love it, but I think TNG is better. A lot of people think Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek series. I'm not one of those people. Yes, we've also done the animated series, of course. Yes, sorry. I forgot about that. Yes, we've done that one as well. The animated series. Right, so Deep Space Nine. But anyway, before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, let's check, make sure we're live. We're live on YouTube, I hope. Wingrace obviously getting ads. I'm monetized, so ads will appear. We should be live on Rumble. Let me refresh it because it still don't pop. You've got to refresh it. It just don't pop up. Yes, we're live on Rumble. And we should be live on Twitch. Yes, we are. Right. Don't know why I keep doing Twitch, but whatever. Right. Explore the description. Where's my finger? There it is. For links for stuff like merch. Where is it? There we go. Such as this snazzy Star Trek inspired t-shirt. My books. Where are they? Down here. Silent Predator, short horror novella about genetically engineered big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and alien abductions and moon bases and comets and alien invasions and all that stuff. There's a bit of fun on Amazon Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. Anywho, right, is that it? What else? There's links for stuff. I said merch, didn't I? My websites, mercuryrapids.co.uk, the old yorkshiregeek.co.uk. What else? What else is in the description? I can't remember. There's other stuff as well. Become a member, and then you'll get exclusive access to exclusive videos, early access videos, and exclusive emojis in the chat and all that stuff. Right, I think that's it. And super chats and super thanks would be greatly appreciated. Right, let's get on with this, shall we? Right, so Deep Space Nine, season 1. We're not on Netflix today. I could have gone on Netflix because in the UK, sorry, there's a big long strand of hair there. Classic Star Trek from TOS all the way up to Enterprise is available on Netflix in the UK, but it's not HD. So I thought, well, I'll just use my DVD rips. I've got all the DVDs up there. I've got all the rips on my computer for ease. So I thought we'll just go with that because they're the same quality and it's a bit easier to handle than the cumbersome Netflix GUI, to use a technical term. Right, so off we go. Add that to the stage. Right, we're doing it like this, right? So, episode 1 of Deep Space Nine is called Emissary, not The Emissary, which I think was a TNG episode, wasn't it? It's just called Emissary. There we go. And we begin with a scroll. It's like Star Wars, isn't it? So it's where we learn that about what happened to Jean-Luc Picard during the events of Best of Both Worlds. This is 3 years earlier on Stardate 43997, because everything of note, all the cliffhangers, happened at the end of the year. So is Stardate 44000? Is that January 1st? I did try looking it up. Well, I didn't. I had a quick Google. Because remember them mentioning Thanksgiving in the original series. Excuse me. Which is November time, isn't it, in America? And Captain Kirk says, on Earth, today, it's Thanksgiving. I thought, I'll check what's the star date? And it's star date 1533, I think. So I don't know how that works out for November. It doesn't really, does it? I don't know. But anyway, it's all random. But whatever. Right, so we learned that Picard was turned into a Borg. And there he is, being a Borgified, being locutus. Again, we're going to see the battle of Wolf 359, which is cool. Here we see Benjamin Sisko. Is he a lieutenant commander here? Let's have a look at his. Yes, he's a lieutenant commander there. Look, you just saw his pins. He's the first officer on the USS Saratoga, which is a Miranda class starship. I don't know if is it the same one. Is it the same USS Saratoga from Star Trek 4? Don't know, because that was in Miranda class as well. But I think it has a different registry number. Anywho, right, so begin the attack. Here they go. Cool. That's the Saratoga. Opening fire on the Borg cube, and we see lots of other ships as well. This is the Melbourne, I do believe. Let's see if we can zoom in. Hang on. Can we make it out? It's a pity, isn't it? It's not HD. Come on, sort it out. Get us a HD version of Deep Space Nine and Voyager. An official one. I think it is the Melbourne. Yes, it is. Just make it out there. USS Melbourne. So the Melbourne is this is the ship that were offered to Riker, remember, to be captain of. It's an Excelsior class. But anyway, we see this. They make short work of this, don't they, to the Borg? There we go. It does an Star Trek 3, doesn't it, with Enterprise on there? So there it is. The poor Melbourne's done for. There, the Saratoga gets caught in a tractor beam. I will flick through this super quick. I'm not going to dwell on stuff. Anyway, basically, the Saratoga. There's the captain of the Saratoga. Don't ask me his name. Wingrace probably knows. Yes. Love this Vulcan captain. Too bad we never see that actor again. I don't know who plays him. I haven't looked it up to see who plays the captain. Let's have a look. See if it says on Wikipedia. I bet it don't. Bet it doesn't. Doesn't say bugger all about it. Has it got an IMDb page? Let's have a look. Emissary at IMDb. I don't even know the name of him. All cast and crew. Then Vulcan captain. All right. Oh yes. Now I'm looking at him. I do recognise him. It's J.G. Hertzler. Billed as John Noah Hertzler. So where did he get a G from Noah? I don't know. But obviously we will see him again as General Martok. That's right, isn't it? I had a brain fart then. But anyway, I know it's not the best quality. I'm trying to... oh, for Pete's sake, get over. Even get a one that's not... Because remember, the ship's being got by the Borg, so it's all buffeting about. Oh, whatever. Never mind. Oh, yes, it's saying that. Sorry, I didn't see it. I was busy on another screen reading other things. Yes, it's J.G. Hertzler. And a random changeling in season 7, did he? Oh, no, okay. It's been other things as well. I have seen him play other roles in Star Trek as well. Anyway, so and there's a Bolian officer. Anyway, so the captain gets killed. There we go. There's the dead captain. And the ship, they've got to abandon ship and all that stuff. There we see, but that's not a great effect, is it? I mean, they didn't get that right, did they? They didn't think to add shake, on the stuff that's going on outside, but never mind. Wintergrace says, met him at a mall and he talked to me for an hour about the best apple pie. There you go. And you were just itching to ask him about Martok and the rites of ascension and all that stuff. Anyway, so where we learn that his wife's dead. There she is. There won't be any subtitles, will there, for us to read? But they generally don't pop up on Netflix for me anyway. But never mind. Jennifer, his wife Jennifer's dead. There we go. This chap does his tricord. Says, it's too late, sir. She's gone. So anyway, they find Jake. Jake's fine. They get him out. They abandon ship. There they go. And the Saratoga explodes. And as we know, 39 ships were destroyed with 11,000 dead. And then we transition to 3 years later, stardate 46379.1. There we go. And I do remember when this came out, I was actually quite excited because it kind of gives me a little thrill. I don't know why. To see Star Trek Adventures, because this was the first time we had a Star Trek adventure away from the Enterprise, and it was just nice for me to see other Starfleet stuff going on. Although we do see the Enterprise in this, obviously, but anyway, never mind. Right, so here we are. They're on the holodeck. This we see Jake's grown up a bit more. I think he's supposed to be. Is he 14 now? I think he's 14 or maybe 13, something like that. And they're arriving at Deep Space Nine, which is a newly christened space station in the Bajor system. It's an old Cardassian mining station in orbit of Bajor. We're going to see it now as they leave the holodeck on whatever ship they're on. I can't remember what ship they're on. Windgrace will probably tell me. But here we are. We're going to see it. There it goes. Oh, is that it? And it is an amazing design. Is Deep Space Nine. Terok Nor is its Cardassian name, but it's a cool design. Cool designs, the Cardassians. Although not quite compatible with Starfleet technology. Anyway, so here we go. And then we go into the opening title sequence, which is the most boring opening titles for any Star Trek series. Thank God they changed it for season 4, made it a bit more lively. But for 3 seasons, we had to put up with this boring crap. Anyway, and we don't even see the wormhole at the beginning of here because it just ends. We just see. Hold on a minute. Hang on, where are we? We just see. We just see a blank bit of space, as though is something supposed to go there. Yes, that's where the wormhole appears. Anyway, right, so here we go, Emissary, we're off, and we see the stations. The Cardassians have left bit. The Cardassians occupied Bajor for, 60 years or 80 years, whatever, a long time, several decades. They occupied Bajor, or as Captain Picard calls it, Bajor. Yes, Windgrace says, oh, for Pete's sake, I can't click on things today. The wormhole doesn't arrive until Tuesday. That's a Star Trek Generations joke, in case anybody didn't know. Where were we? The Cardassians occupied Bajor for several decades, and they've pulled out now. Bajor has reached out to the Federation, and so the Federation has decided to make their presence felt. And not all Bajorans are happy about this. They've just got their independence back from Cardassia after, brutal rule. And now the Federation's come in. And anyway, so here we go. Here we get learn that Chief Miles Edward O'Brien, is the new chief. Is the chief operations officer, isn't he? But he's kind of the chief engineer, really. He's the chief of operations, isn't he? Because he's not a proper officer, is he? He's a chief petty officer. He's a non-com. And it's weird in Star Trek how they do the non-coms, because he's obviously a highly ranked officer, but he's a non-commissioned officer, so technically he has to call ensigns sir. But obviously that doesn't happen very often. But it does occasionally. Because they do outrank him technically. But anyways, he's the Chief Operations Officer of Deep Space Nine. He's transferred over from the Enterprise. Remember, he was a lowly transporter chief. But we've also learned that he has done other things. He was a tactical officer on the... I forgot now. What ship were he on? The Setlik 3 massacre. Windgrace knows. Anyway, so he's done lots of things, but now he's being an engineer. We never see Deep Space Nine's engineering, or do we? Do we ever see Deep Space Nine's engineering section, or where the generators are, or whatever? It doesn't have an engine room. Everything's done from the bridge. Rutledge, that's it, yes. I knew Windgrace would know the Rutledge, yes. Anyway, when the Cardassians left, the they've smashed up the station. So anyway, so that's to skip through. We're all bloody night, won't we? He comes across a Bajoran priest. I don't know his rank. I only know Vedek and Kai. I don't know what they are below that. I can't remember. But anyway, a Bajoran priest who asks Commander Benjamin Sisko, Benjamin Lafayette Sisko, if he wants to step into the shrine. But he says, maybe later. So he says, okie dokie. Then they look suspiciously. Right. Anyway, so we find that they've got to the replicators aren't working, and they've got to live on rations, and they haven't got any proper beds or anything. Is it Ranjan? Right. Okie dokie. Is that the term? Anywho. So here we go. Everything all getting sorted out. Lots of Bajoran officers, obviously. I imagine the majority of the staff on Deep Space Nine are Bajoran, but there are obviously quite a few Starfleet personnel there as well. I think there's about 300 altogether. I don't know how many people are on the station in its entirety, but I think there's about 300, crew or the class of staff. I don't know, but 300 people working on it. But obviously, there's lots of other people passing through all the time. But anyway. Right, so there's Major Kira Nerys. She's Sisko's number one. She's a fiery Bajoran. Obviously, served in the Bajoran resistance during the occupation. So obviously, they don't get on at first. Anyway, right, so he's telling her, I'm just here to help. Says that's what the Cardassians said. I don't go away. We don't want the Federation. Pardon me. And then we learn there's been a lot of break-ins recently because it's a bit lawless at the minute. It's not your typical utopian Star Trek Starfleet thing going on. That's Odo, played by the late great René Aubergenois. I'm probably mispronouncing that. The Changeling. And here we see this is Nog. There's Nog, played by the late. Blanking, bloody hell, what am I like? Aaron Eisenberg, there we go. The late Aaron Eisenberg. Oh, died very young, didn't he? But, reasonably young. Out stealing something. Don't know who this fella is, by the way, but he throws something at Odo, and this is where we learn that Odo's a shapeshifter. Look, he's made of jelly. Anyway, so there we go. They're having a confrontation. Here comes Quark, played by Armin Shimmerman. So we're getting to meet all the cast, and right. So now he's got to go. The Enterprise is still there, by the way, docked at the upper pylon, and Sisko's to go and have a chat with Captain Picard, and he says, basically, we meet again at last, or something along them lines. I know he doesn't say that, but he says, have we met before? Yes, sir, we met in battle at Wolf 359. So I says, so that makes it awkward for him. And anyway, so he's saying, Picard's saying he wants Bajor to, enter the Federation, but down a bit, they're all at each other's throats, essentially, after they became united to fight the Cardassians and drive them from Bajor. But once the Cardassians are gone, old hatred's opened up again. Now they're at each other's throats. So he's saying, sounds like they're not ready to join the Federation. He says, well, it's your job to do everything you can, short of breaking the Prime Directive, which they do it all the time anyway, but to make that happen. But he says, okay, whatever, I will serve as to the best of my ability, sir. And then he says, dismissed, so he goes, because he doesn't like Picard. Because Picard's technically responsible for the death of his wife. Anyway. Right, so we learn that Nog's in prison, and he wants to cut a deal, does Sisko, with Quark, because everybody's leaving, because they think, there's going to be a civil war on Bajor and all that stuff. Everybody's leaving. Even Quark's getting ready to leave. Quark runs the local bar, but basically Cisco blackmails him and says, your son's going to spend the rest of his life in a Bajoran jail unless you become a community leader and make it so that not everybody wants to leave, because we've got to do something with this place and make it livable and all that stuff. Anyway, right. So now he's going to go down and meet the Kai, because that priest comes back and says, Commander, it is time. So he's got to go and meet the Kaya Packer down on Bejo. By the way, at this time, obviously, as you've seen, the station is orbiting Bejo. Anyway, Wingray says, should have made the Klingon chef the community leader. We only see him a couple of times, don't we? But we have seen him. But, yeah. Is he there at this point? I don't know. There we go. So we see Bejo, a lovely place, but it's showing that it's a bit done in because the Cardassians have done, but it all gets fixed. And Bejo's a lovely planet, apparently, unless you live in one particular part, which we'll get to in the Storyteller episode, where there's a weird monster. But anyway, they don't seem to, anyway, whatever, we'll get to that episode. Right, so I was going to meet there. She is Kaya Packer. Well, I think she was in Battlestar Galactica, wasn't she? I think she played like a priest or something in that, didn't she? Or, some sort of religious person. I think she did. I could be wrong. Anyway, she's the Bajoran religious leader, and they've got a habit of grabbing hold of your ears and your ears, and reading your pa, which is like your life force. So, not your catra, your pa. Anyway, she says it's ironic that he who should be the emissary does not want to be here. So anyway, so she takes him down these stairs and she's going to show him an orb. So we learn that several of these orbs, I don't remember how many exactly. She says how many, but I can't remember, have appeared in the skies over Bejo over the last 10,000 years. Because Bejo is a really old civilization. They were going into space when we were still sailing ships on Earth and all that. But anyway, so there we go. They opened up this orb, and there it is, all shimmery shiny, and it all goes woo, and it changes, and it goes all woo woo. And then suddenly finds himself on a beach with his feet burning on the sand. This way, it's the day he met Jennifer, so he's kind of gone back in time. It's kind of a goofy part of the film because he keeps going, ooh! I think it's Michael Jackson in this, but obviously he's confused. But it's the day he met Jennifer, so the orb's showing him his past, but he's a kind of an active participant in it. It's not like just showing him a memory, it's like replaying it. We learn that where the orbs come from, time has no meaning. It's a bit like the Nexus, but anyway. So he's talking to Jennifer, and so we're seeing her, and she's kind of super hot, I must admit. But anyway, and then he sees the orb again, and he comes back, says no, and he comes back, and so she gives him the orb. You need to learn all about this, she says. If you're going to unite my people and save us and all that stuff. So he takes the orb back to Deep Space Nine. Right, what's happening next? He's thinking about his wife now, and he's looking at Jake. You remind me of your mum. Anyway, right. So, he goes to Quarks, and we see that business is booming and all that. But, right, and the Enterprise is leaving now, and it's dropped off 3 runabout class ships. I think this is the first time we see them. Runabout class ships. They're not runabout. They're runabouts, but they're Danube class. There's various classes of runabouts, and I can only remember Danube. But I want one, the kind of Starfleet's version of Winnebagos, and they're cool, and I want one. I know the Enterprise isn't going now. This ship, this Oberth class, is arriving with their science officer. I think this might be the first time a science officer is mentioned. I don't think they mention science, a science officer in TNG, do they? But anyway, so it's Lieutenant Dax and the Doctor. Dr. Bashir is arriving. There they are. The Dishy Dax, as she became known. Sorry, Windgrace. Let my people Cisco, because he's like Moses, sort of. Anyway, so this is Lieutenant Dax, played by what's her face, Terry Farrell. By the way, that's Nana Visitor. I always call her Nana Visitor, but apparently it's Nana, isn't it? Visitor. Who would end up marrying this fella, Siddig El Fadil. Here, I can't remember exactly when he became Alexander Siddig. Might be season 4 or 3, can't remember. But at the moment, in this timeline, he is Siddig El Fadil as Dr. Julian Bashir. And he's a ladies' man. He's wanting to get into Dax's trill pants, so to speak. But no can blame him. But this is by the way, this is the time when we learn that the trill don't have lumpy foreheads, because the trill that we'd seen before on Next Generation had weird lumpy foreheads in that one episode, The Host. But now they've given the spot designs that we saw on The Perfect Mate with Famke Janssen. They've made them like those. So there's obviously 2 sorts of trill, which I don't think they've ever gone back to it, have they? They told us why there's Romulans with lumpy foreheads and not. Maybe that she's a northern trill and the other one's a southern trill. I don't know. But anyway. So we learned the trill, had she's got a symbiote inside her, and he says, you're 300 years old, but she's not. She's 27, I think, something like that, or 28. Anyway, Doctor's got his medical, the infirmary. They call it the infirmary on Deep Space Nine. It's not sick bay. But anyway, so there we go. And he's not getting on with Kira either. Right, so Cisco sets Dax to work. She's the science officer. Yes, they don't talk about it with outsiders, which is convenient. Anyway, he sets Dax to work, the science officer, to suss out what's going on with these orbs. So she starts off doing that. But then it activates for her. Don't know why, it just does. And we get to see her being implanted with the Dax symbiont. There she is. There's Curzon Dax, who we learn, was a mentor to Ben Sisko. It was a bit of a knob, but Ben Sisko, he was a father figure for Ben Sisko, even though Ben Sisko does have a father. But anyway, whatever. Right, so we see that, and there we go. She comes back round and goes, "Ooh, blimey!" Right. All right, Chief O'Brien's leaving the Enterprise now, and obviously couldn't afford any of the other main cast, so they've just got like the B shift or whatever. Wingray says, "I forgot this was a season 1 stream. I thought it was just Emissary." I know I'm going on that. I should zip through it. I've got bloody 19 episodes to get through, and we're half an hour in already. But anyway, right. So he's leaving. I'm going to zip through it now. He's leaving, and he says goodbye and all that. And it's quite a touching part because Picard, beams. Why is he beaming him over? It's docked. Why can't he just go into the pylon and down the elevator? But whatever. And the Enterprise leaves, and then Cardassians arrive. There we go. It can't be coincidence that the Enterprise has just left. And as we meet Gul Dukat, who used to be the prefect of Bajor, played by the great, I think he's a great actor, Mark Alemo. He was known for like playing heavies, like small roles in movies. He was like Dirty Harry films and stuff like that, and he played like heavies. But he's like an amazing actor. But anyway, he's in all the way through Deep Space Nine. He's been a good, he's been a baddie, he's been a goodie, he's been a baddie. So he's been done everything as Gul Dukat, but not to be confused with Dukat from Babylon 5, which came out about the same time, didn't it? Their leader, the Minbari leader in Babylon 5, were called Dukat, wasn't it? Just to confuse matters. Anyway, right, so they've got to sneak out now. We find out that the orbs came from the Denorius belt, which is somewhere in the Bajoran solar system. I think is it 100 50 million miles away from Beige or something like that. And so they've got to go and investigate, but they don't want the Cardassians knowing what they're up to. So Odo slips aboard a Cardassian ship because he can shapeshift. So he slips aboard, disguised, as a bag. Here he goes. It is kind of ropey CG, but it's early days, isn't it? And it's TV. So he goes and shuts down the Cardassian sensors so they can leave. There we go. And we get some cool gear porn and we get his first look at a runabout. And I want one. I want one the cool. So off they go to the Denorius belt. So, right. Anyway, nothing works, by the way. Odo wants beaming over, and it's not working, so Chief O'Brien resorts to kicking the console, and that makes it work. Right, so off they go to the Denorius belt, and there we go. Ooh, something happens. A big thing opens up in the sky, and so they're going through the wormhole, and we find out they come out the other side. Ooh. And they find out they're in the Gamma Quadrant, 70,000 light years. From everything's 70,000 light years away, isn't it? 70,000 light years away from the Federation. Voyager ended up 70,000 light years away, didn't it? Whatever. So they turn around and go back. I think this is cool. So they go back, and they've realised it's obviously a stable wormhole because it's been there for 10,000 years. But going back, something happens. The thing stops and it all goes. The land somewhere where there's an atmosphere. Picard, Cisco sees that it's a barren landscape. So I'm guessing this is a reflection of your mind. So is all dark. Whereas Dax sees it as a beautiful garden. So there we go. She's saying it's beautiful. Says, you what? We're standing on the cliff face. She says it's beautiful summer's day. Anyway, she gets taken away in an orb. An orb appears, and she gets taken away in it. And there we go. She gets taken away, and the orb takes her back to Deep Space Nine, whereas the Cisco remains there and gets covered in fuzzy light, which I kind of stole. This idea, this fuzzy light, from my book Mercury Rapids. It's in there. It ends up, the hero in Mercury Rapids ends up in a room that's got it's light like that, but you can feel the light. But, anyway, which I think has been described in UFO cases. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, so that's where he's going to meet the prophets, the wormhole aliens. But meanwhile, there we go. Here comes the orb that's carrying Jadzia, takes her back to the station, and there you go. They beam it aboard, and there we go. It turns into her. She says, "Oh, crikey!" So, it's where we're meeting the wormhole aliens. We never see what they actually look like. They appear as people that from Cisco's memory. Although there is one person that I don't know who it is, and I don't know if you ever see her again. A woman. I'm going to see if I can land on it. It's just like a fraction of a second we see her, and I don't know if she's anybody relevant. I probably missed it. Here we go. It might be in this area. Well, I've got my finger up. I don't know, but so Cisco thingamabob. Jake being born. Who's she? I've no idea. Who is she? I don't know. Is it Kira? I don't know. I don't know who it is. Who is Windgrace? Who is that? I don't know. But obviously, I didn't know Kira if she ever looked like that when she was younger. I don't know, but I don't know who she is. We never see her again. I don't think we do anyway. But so they're asking, what is he? What are you? He says, I'm human, and then we don't understand. You're not. I think it's the woman he bumped into asking if he saw Jennifer. Oh, was it her? I don't know. Was it? I don't think it was, to be honest. I think it was a mystery woman that they put in there that never decided not to bother using again. But anyway, but you could be right. I don't. Anyway, so he's having a chat with the wormhole aliens. Meanwhile, they've got to find a way to get that station to the wormhole for some reason. Because because the Cardassians are gonna, they're gonna start poking around now. It says, how long would it take us to get this station to the to the wormhole? Hang on, do they do that? No, they don't do that yet, do they? No, we haven't got that far yet. I think they're going to take a runabout, aren't they? Yes, they're taking a runabout to go investigate first. There's J.G. Hertzler again. So they're confused. They don't know what he is. Obviously, people haven't been through the wormhole much. So they're just curious as to what he is. So he's trying to explain to them. And we learn that they don't live in linear time. They live in all time at once. I don't know how that works, because obviously they're speaking to him in linear time. He's not getting all the information at once, is he? But anyway. Is this where the... oh, it is this one. All right, yes. They've gone in the runabout, and they asked Chief O'Brien how long it would take him to get the station to the mouth of the wormhole. And he said, like, 3 months. So, because they've only got 12 working thrusters or whatever it is. But obviously they get there quicker because they've got to lower the mass of the station. So they use the shields to lower the mass, and it'll get there in no time at all. But anyway, right. So off they go. A Cardassian ship arrives. Oh, they were with the Gul Dukat, and he's going to go into the wormhole. So off he goes. Sisko's still trying to talk to the aliens. They think he's, a savage, essentially. And, well, Q does arrive. Lower the gravitational constant of the universe. Q does arrive in a few episodes' time, doesn't it? Anyway, so Sisko ends up making friends with the aliens, and they come to an understanding. They think he's a barbarian, essentially. Confrontational, etc. But he talks them round. But there we go. Gul Dukat's gone through the wormhole and obviously not fared well because his whole ship's all going sparking, look. Because Cardassian technology is not quite as good as Federation technology. But not far off. Exterior wormhole effect still looks amazing. It is cool, I must admit, it is cool. And they're getting their money's worth in this episode, aren't they? But anyway, suddenly it's collapsed as the wormhole. Obviously, the wormhole aliens have done something and made the entrance collapse. So another ship arrives, another Cardassian ship arrives. He's trying to explain baseball to them, because even though nobody plays baseball anymore, except Sisko and some people on Cestus 3, we've got to know all about it because, Wingray's Americans. But anyway. So he's trying to teaching them about linear time. I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible, but there's a lot of concepts to get through, isn't there? They keep saying, "Why do you exist here?" They keep asking him that, and it's showing the death of his wife. They don't understand because obviously they live in all time at once, but in Sisko's mind, he's always thinking about Jennifer, and the death of his wife. So that's always in his mind. So anyway. Right, 3 Cardassian Gala-class battle cruisers, or whatever they call them, have arrived. Is that Gulavek? Is it? Or it might be, I don't know. But let's have a look. I can't remember. Hey, was it Gul-Jasad? Must be Gul-Jasad. Yes, Gulavek's. We do see Gulavek, but a few times. But this is Gul-Jasad, isn't it? A Gul is a Cardassian captain. And a Glyn is a Cardassian commander, isn't it? But anyway, or lieutenant. Anyway, so they were saying, I don't see no wormholes. It's because it's just collapsed. I don't believe you. So they're going to blow up Deep Space Nine. Because Deep Space Nine's on its way. Oh, no, it's arrived now, hasn't it, Deep Space Nine? So they trick the Cardassians into them thinking that the station's got loads of weapons, which it hasn't. I think they've got 6 photon torpedoes. And so Kira bluffs them. And they've called for the Enterprise. The Enterprise is on its way back. Cisco makes friends with the aliens and all that stuff. And I'm getting through it now. It's all sad. Look, because I live here, exist here, because I can't live without Jennifer and all that stuff. So they're going to start fighting because the Cardassian's going to open fire on the station. Here we go. In a minute. There we go. Attack formation. There we go. Everybody get to the shelters. What shelter? I don't know, but anyway. There we go. Pew 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 and all that stuff. But then the wormhole appears. Yes, is the doctor's telling Odo, press there and hold it. Anyway, the wormhole reappears. There it goes. There's your wormhole. Just sad. And the runabout's towing Guldukat's ship out because obviously he saved him. So everything's hunky-dory now. The Enterprise comes back. Here's the Enterprise coming back. Nice beauty shot of the Enterprise arriving at Deep Space Nine. And everything's cool. And Cisco goes to see Picard, and because he'd said before he was thinking of entering civilian service. And Picard says, well, I'll have to see about getting a replacement for you. And he says, no, I've changed my mind. I'm stopping here. So, okie dokie. And then they shake hands because he's moved on as Cisco now. He's moved on. He has grown as a man, so to speak. And the adventure is just beginning on Deep Space Nine. Right, we'll go to the next episode. Right, so that's the end of Emissary. That's it. I think Emissary is one of the best pilots of Star Trek. It's probably actually. I think it probably is the best pilot. I'm very fond of Broken Bow. Yes, the human adept. I was thinking that when I said it. I'm very fond of Broken Bow, the Enterprise pilot episode. But I think Emissary is the best pilot, Star Trek pilot. I do like Caretaker as well, and Encounter at Farpoint. But I think Emissary could be best. Yes, love me some Klingons. Yes, Admiral Bobby Singer. In it, is it an admiral? Something like that. Calls them Klingons. Anyway, right. So moving on to the next episode. Here we go. Here it is. Which is I've forgotten. Is it past prologue or A Man Alone? I can't remember. I'll have to look at my list. It's past prologue. Right. So. Here we are, on board the station. Which one's this one? I can't bloody remember. Is this the one with... the Bajoran terrorist. Right. So let's bomb through this one. So a Bajoran terrorist arrives from Cardassian space. We first meet Garak as well, played by Andrew Robinson. No, Garak's not gay. He could be bisexual, for all we know. I don't know. But he's definitely not gay. Because he loved Zial, didn't he? So they're trying to make even Andrew Robinson has said, he may have had feelings for Dr. Bashir, but Dr. Bashir wasn't gay either because he were all over Jadzia and Ezri Dax, wasn't he? But anyway, so he's striking up a friendship with Dr. Bashir. Obviously, everybody knows about the only Cardassian on the station. Elim Garak. So anyway, so he's striking up a friendship with him. Is this the one with the? It is, isn't it? Yes, this is the one with the Duras sisters, isn't it? So we've got some Klingons on this for Wingrace. But anyway, so here we are. Is this? There's a Bajoran ship's under attack from a Cardassian ship, and we learn that. There's a Bajoran chap on board who were part of a radical Bajoran resistance sect. They were Kon Ma, who killed loads and loads of Cardassians during the occupation. And anyway, there's that. Speaking of Enterprise, is it Vaughan Armstrong? Is that Vaughan Armstrong? Let's have a look, because I don't think he's credited on on the stuff. I could be wrong. Past prologue. Let's have a look. Looks like Vaughan Armstrong to me, who's probably played more people in Star Trek than any other person. Let me check. Yes, it is Goldeneye, Vaughan Armstrong. Anyway, whatever. Right, so it says he's guilty. They want him back. This fella from Conmar. Don't ask me his name. I'll find out. Where the hell is he? Tanalos. That's the fella. Tanalos. Brent Spiner has played the most, but I'm the only one who cracked that code. Oh, right, okie dokie. But Vaughan Armstrong's played quite a few. He's played the most different aliens, maybe, but than anybody else. Anyway, he's wanting Tanalos because he's a terrorist. He's saying, and obviously Kira doesn't want to hand him over. She thinks he says he's not part of. He's not part of Conmar anymore. He's seen the error of his ways, and she believes him, but. It turns out he's still a baddie, and he's wanting to get something. He's selling something to the Duras sisters, and so they uncover that plot with the help of Garak. She's still trusting him, and she takes him in a runabout, and because they're going to they're going to meet with the Klingons. Because they're giving money to the Klingon. The Duras sisters are trying to raise funds again. After their failed attempt to overthrow the Klingon Empire, back in Redemption in TNG. But anyway, right. So, how far are we? So they take a here we are. Here's the good old the Duras sisters. I like me some Klingon ladies. Nice. Anyway, right. So she takes a runabout and takes Tanalos to their rendezvous, and he shows his true colours and he's prepared to kill Major Kira. There we go. But she rumbles him. That goes through the wormhole and all that stuff. And everything works out in the end. So there we go. And yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Season 1 of Deep Space Nine is a bit like Season 1 of TNG. There's some good episodes, but some quite forgettable ones, and that's a bit of a forgettable one. It's fine. It was nice to see the Duras sisters. Nice to see a bit of crossover, connections with other parts of the Star Trek universe, which is fair enough. But moving on, see, we got through that one quick, didn't we? Next up is it coming on? There we go. This bit does me head in. Is this one a man alone? I can never remember the bloody names of the episodes. This one's a man alone. The first few episodes, it seemed to be about things that happened in the past or whatever. People coming to terms with their past decisions. So, past prologue were about, Kira and what she did when she was in the Resistance. And this one's about Odo. I think is this one of the holosuites? I'm not quite sure, but anyway, that's a game she's playing. Yeah, whatever, and yeah, I don't care. He's still after Dax, and he thinks that Dax and Cisco are having a relationship, but they're just friends. Anywho, right, so Odo gets accused of murder. Some fella comes on board. I think he's a Bajoran. I could be wrong, but a chap comes aboard, and Odo gets blamed for his death. Oh, it's him. Look, hang on, where is he? I've just missed him. Never lands on it again. There he is. I think it's this fella. He gets killed, and Odo. Just friends in this universe. Well, they have a thing in another universe. I can't remember. Odo gets accused of murdering that fella, but it turns out obviously Odo didn't kill him. He kind of killed himself because it's not him; he's a clone. But Odo has to go through, proving his innocence. Meanwhile, Keiko's not happy. Is this the one where they set up a school? Because there's some kids on the station, but there's no school. There's nothing for them to do. It could be this one. Yeah, and she says, I want to set up a school. So, right, we'll sort it out. Killing a clone is murder unless you're Riker and Pulaski. Archer. Don't forget Trip's clone. Anyway. He's having a jumja stick. This is he's trying to make friends. Jake's trying to make friends with Nog, but obviously Nog doesn't want anything to do with him at the moment. But they end up becoming best friends. And Nog becomes super famous later on and ends up in the 30-odd century having ships named after him and everything. But anyway. So, obviously, they find out that he didn't kill him, and there we go. There's the murder happening, and we learn that it was a clone, and he genetically altered his appearance, did the fella, and all that stuff, and blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, it's another whatever episode. Moving on. It's kind of setting up stuff though in the background with the B stories about the school and all that stuff. And that they still don't really trust each other, the people that were on the station originally, because Odo's been there for, is it about 5 years? I think it's 5 years. Odo's been there. And Quark. Kira has obviously not been there that long, but she's been on the station before, we learn. But anyway, so there we go. There's the growing, because they found some residue somewhere, and Julian decides to see to clone it and see what happens. I'll let it grow, and it grows into that fella. Anyway, like an angry mob, because they think Odo's a murderer, so an angry mob gathers, almost with torches and pitchforks, but not quite. But anyway, they sort it out, and they realise he's innocent. And this fellow would just want to get back at Odo because of reasons during the occupation for stuff. And there we go. The kids come to school. Is this the first time we see Rom? I'm not sure, but Rom brings Nog into school. And then some other kids come and she's saying, oh, come in, I'm your teacher. And, blah, blah, blah. And that's the end. So, yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. It's another, whatever episode. What's next? We will see. We will see. Right, what's the next episode? Because I can never remember. Babel is next. Or is it pronounced Babel? I don't know. I've always pronounced it Babel, like Babel fish. But no Babel fish in this episode, unfortunately. This one's where there's some weird disease. I can't remember how it happens. We will find out, won't we? Aliens. That looks like Vaughn Armstrong again. Could be. In my memory, it's an episode where the universal translator went down. Yeah, but it's some disease in it that makes it happen or something. I don't know. So what does it say? A mysterious virus plagues the station, causing first aphasia and eventually death. Yeah. So it's not the universal translator, is it? It's them speaking. The universal translator's translating them, but they're just speaking nonsense. That's it. That's what happens. That's a captain that wants to leave really quickly because he's got perishable cargo. But obviously, because the stuff that happens, they can't leave. He finds, that's it. He's poking about and he finds something, and it's some weird gooey stuff, I think. Is it this where they find some gooey stuff in the replicator? Is that it there? Hang on, I've gone past it. Oh, there's some. There we go. Whatever that is. Is it something to do with Quark? It might be something to do with Quark. Quark's doing something with getting extra power from the replicators or something. But anyway, yeah, but it makes them speak nonsense. I remembered it as people speaking their native language. I think that may have been a book. Fair enough. Anyway, so they've got to deal with that because if it continues, because of this virus, they'll end up dying. They fall into a coma, so people are dropping into comas. They can't communicate properly. It affects people at different rates. Some people are unaffected. It doesn't seem to affect Odo, and it doesn't affect Quark. Maybe on the rate at the end, I'm not sure. Maybe it's because they've got, 4-lobed brains or something. I don't know. But anyway. It should have shown all the Ferengi coming together and saving the ship, not ship, the station, but never mind. So they've got to suss that out. Julian eventually figures it out somehow and cures them. I think his ship blows up. The alien captain, tries to get away. But anyway, they suss it out eventually, and there we go. I think it's Odo and Quark save the day because they're the only ones unaffected. There we go. So that's what they do. Look. And they sort it out just in time, and the day is saved, and everything's cool, and all that. And he becomes a baddie in Stargate Atlantis, doesn't he? You should do this for Stargate once you finish Trek. Oh God, bloody rest of me bloody life at this rate. But anyway, what was this one? Babel. So yeah, this is an okay one. It's more like a TNG episode, this, isn't it? To be honest, but it's fine. It's fine. We're not getting into the big arcs that Deep Space Nine is known for. But anyway, never mind. So next, Babel's okay. I didn't mind Babel, to be honest. Pause your bloody thing. There we go. Just make sure we're still going. Yeah, we are. I only asked for Stargate, not classic Doctor Who. I wouldn't do very well with classic Doctor Who. Although I've seen a lot of it, I can't remember most of it. I only started watching from about John Pertwee. I have seen some of the older ones, but not many of them from before that. But anyway, what's next? Captive Pursuit is next. Brian befriends an alien from the Gamma Quadrant who is being hunted. It's this one, yes. So somebody comes through the wormhole. The what hole? The wormhole. The worm what? Wormhole. That's a Mystery Science Theatre 3000 thing. And isn't it weird how some women can look really attractive even with all got weird stuff stuck on their faces and heads? But anyway. Right, so here, this alien comes through the wormhole and it looks all funky. There he is. Oh, stop it. There we go. At first I thought it was Scott McDonald playing him, but it's not. It's somebody else. Is he a proto-Hirogen? Kind of looks like one, doesn't he? Oh, pardon me. Anyway. He kind of takes a shine to Chief O'Brien. And Chief O'Brien kind of takes him under his wing. It turns out he's been hunted, and that's what essentially he's bred for. He's bred to be hunted, and these hunters come, and nobody mentions the Dominion. I don't think until season 2, even though that controls most of the Gamma Quadrant. But never mind that. They must be from an area of the Gamma Quadrant that not encountered the Dominion. But anyway, so he's showing him around and befriending the alien. Don't ask me what the bloody alien's called. I can't remember. Let's have a look. I'm thinking like is it Tosk or something like that? I can't remember. Start. Where are we? Plot. There he is. Yes, Tosk. Crikey. I remembered it. Samuel Clemens is hunting him. Is he? Tosk, yes. I did remember before I saw that. Is it something? It's not. That's oh, I forgot his name now. I'll tell you. Gerrit Graham plays Tosk, by the way. Bear with me. Where are you? Captive Pursuit on IMDb. There we go. Let's click on that. It's no, it's oh, I forgot to put his name now. I'll see. I'm not going to see it. Oh no, it ain't who I thought it was. I'm thinking of a different episode. The Hunter. Oh no, the Hunters get it. Oh, it is Scott McDonald as Tosk. Gerrit Graham plays the Hunter. Right. So all right. It is Scott McDonald. Right, fair enough. Anyway. Samuel Clemens was I can't remember his name. He was in the X-Files. Played Deep Throat in the X-Files. We went through all this, didn't we, with Times Arrow, and I could never remember his name. But it's not him anyway. Anyway, another ship comes through. Look, these are the hunters that are hunting Tosk. They just beam over there. He is. He's been other things in Star Trek, but is he the Cardassian on Voyager? Is it that I'm thinking? I'm not Cardassian. I can't bloody remember. Well, what is it? Hang on, look him up. Let's look him up. The Hunter, Gerrit Graham. Or is it Gerrit Graham? I don't know. But let's see what he's been in. Yes, he's fit. Oh, it's Quinn, isn't it? It's Quinn. Yes, from Voyager. Let's keep going. Star Trek Voyager. Yes, Quinn from Star Trek Voyager. Oh, we're in Babylon 5 as well as Lord Kiro. There we go. Anyway, whatever. I knew it was a famous Trek guy. I remembered the wrong one. Yes, it's Quinn. I wouldn't have known, actually. I wouldn't have known until I looked on IMDb and I saw a photo of him without that lot on. And I thought, oh, it's Quinn. Anyway, so he's the Hunter. And the hunting Tosk, and that's what he's been bred for. And, they take him back in disgrace because he's allowed himself to be captured, which is, terrible for him. It's their way, and that's what they've got to come to terms with. It's their way. It's their way of life, and who are we to judge them and all that stuff? So O'Brien decides to help him. Helps Tosk using his knowledge of Deep Space Nine because he's been there all of 2 weeks. Cheap O'Brien. But anyway, helps him. Helps the hunt continue. So off he goes, and there we go. So. And that episode ends. I quite like that episode, I must admit. It is quite a cool episode. It's Captive Pursuit. So there we go. Moving on. Which one's next? Just let me get rid of these. Too many tabs open. Right, what's next? Oh, God, it's this one. Q-less. I don't hate this episode, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It's the only time Q appears on Deep Space Nine. Q has appeared in every Star Trek except Enterprise. Or has he? Who knows? But anyway. Right. He's not been in Discovery either, has he? Anyway, whatever. That doesn't count. New Star Trek doesn't count. Right, so Q-less. So obviously a clue as to what's been going on in this episode. A runabout, Dax's runabout comes back through the wormhole from the Gamma Quadrant. Hang on, where are we? Let's go back a bit further. There we go. Comes back through the wormhole, and everybody's unconscious, and they bring them round. They tractor beam them in or whatever, get inside. And they're all, not all the worse for wear, and they've picked up a passenger. And it's It's Vash. Hang on, there she is. It's Vash. Look, Picard's bud from Captain's Holiday and the other one, Cupid in TNG. Remember, she buggered off with Q, didn't she, in Cupid? But obviously, they ended up in the Gamma Quadrant, and O'Brien's like Vash, but then they come out and we see this officer working. Turns around, oh look, it's Q. Or is it Colonel What's His Face? I can't remember his name from Stargate SG-1. Anyway, so this episode is all about Vash has got some relics that she wants to sell, including a hang on, this weird one here. That's as soon as she arrives, by the way. Hang on, let's show us it. Shall we? There we go. As soon as she arrives, all the power starts going all funky on the station. Even though it kind of does that anyway, but it's even more so than normal. So it's obviously to do with this. Nobody seems to know what it is. It kind of a bit like an orb, isn't it? But not. She found it in the Gamma Quadrant. So she's wanting to sell stuff, and she's going to do it with Quark's help. Anyway. And Q eventually makes his presence felt, and that's where the power's going down and all that stuff, and it ends up being dangerous. Q's going to have a boxing match with Cisco in a minute. Have I gone past it? I might have done. When does it happen? Because he goes, Marquis of Queensberry rule. There we go. Have a boxing match. And Cisco punches him. He says, oh, you hit me. Picard never hit me. He goes, I'm not Picard. He says, no, you're easier to provoke. But never goes back. So I'm thinking, Q's scared of Cisco. Maybe if Picard had punched Q, they wouldn't have had, encountered at Farpoint. If he'd knocked Q out, maybe they wouldn't have had all that trouble with him. Anyway, and we'd never have met the Borg. But, anyway, they find out that it's that thing that she's got that looks a bit like an orb that's draining all the power. So, and it's going to sell for like 3 million bars of gold pressed platinum or whatever, for a lot anyway. It's going to sell for all them. But then they beam it out into space, and it either blows up or goes away. I can't remember what. Oh no, it turns into an alien or something, doesn't it? There it goes, turns into an alien. An encounter at Farpoint related. They were jellyfish. This has turned into like a manta ray or something. Is it related to them? I don't know, but it buggers off back to the Gamma Quadrant. From whence it came. But anyway, so there we go. And but she doesn't go with Q. She's going to go back to Earth now. There you go. They part. But he tries to tempt her, but she says, no, I'm going back to Earth. She's going to go, I forgot what she said, the Daystrom Institute or something, but anyway. And there we go. That's, whatever. That's Q-less. Q's only appearance on Deep Space Nine. Whatever. I'm not a huge fan of that episode. It's okay, but yeah. Right, what's next? What we up to? Stop playing. What we up to next? Q-less. Dax. This was one I thought I didn't like, but when I watched it, I thought that wasn't too bad with that, to be completely honest. But anyway, it's another one about the past of the characters, backstory, I suppose, and we learn more about the symbionts and all that stuff. Dax gets accused of murder, but not as Jadzia Dax, as Curzon Dax. So we're learning all about is a symbiont's past life, is a Trill's past life in any way connected with who they are at the present. So if they commit a crime when they're somebody else, does that crime? Is there a statute of limitations on Trill murder or whatever? A Trill committing murder. So, is Jadzia Dax culpable for a crime committed by Curzon Dax? That's what I'm trying to say. And obviously not. Because, well, we don't know, because we learned that she didn't commit the crime anyway. She's accused of murder of this chap from this other planet. His son this is the chap's son. He says Curzon Dax murdered his father. But it turns out he didn't, because they were in bed with that fella's mother. And we're going to meet her in a minute, not her. Although she is, she was in TNG, wasn't she? In what the name of that episode? The Survivors. She was on that planet with, although she was killed, wasn't she? But that alien fella, recreated it, didn't he? Anyway, Odo goes off to that planet where they're from. Don't ask me what it's called. And finds his wife, who, there she is, who's played by Fionnuala Flanagan. I'm probably mispronouncing that. She's been in Star Trek a few times as well. But Curzon Dax were having an affair with her, and we learn that her husband, the fella's dad, who Curzon murdered, but didn't. He had nothing to do with it because he was busy shagging her. Turns out that the fella that were murdered was a traitor, and the bad guys murdered him anyway. So, but they let all that slide. Say, okay, Jadzia Dax is not guilty, but we'll forget that my father was a traitor because he's like a national hero. So they just let all that slide anyway. So there we go. It's not a bad episode. It's kind of a courtroom thing, which is probably why I like it. I like courtroom stuff. But anyway, so there we go. She's gorgeous, isn't she? But anyway, never mind. So there we go. So that's Dax. So we learn a little bit about Dax and about symbionts and all that stuff. And by the way, if you watch, if you pay close attention to her patterns, they do kind of change a bit in each episode. They're not. Do they change in real life? Does Trill's patterns like change slowly over time? But they're not quite the same each time you see them. Anyway, right, moving on. Next episode. What's next? Let's see. The Passenger is next. This is another one with. This is one that's all you think. Well, this one written by Gene Roddenberry, because it's almost like one that he'd write. It's about, somebody going into somebody else's mind. Or as my brother would call it, a bloody cheap episode. Anyway. Right, so there's a criminal. They encounter a ship that's, there you go. It's all burning. And they rescue the crew. And she's a security officer on the ship. She looks really familiar. What have I seen her in? Oh, yes, I know who she is. She's been in Babylon 5. She's one of the two women that played Natoth in Babylon 5. I can't remember if she's the first one or the second one. Terrific acting in this one. Are you being sarcastic? Because Julie's him. And it's bloody awful. But anyway. She's in charge of a prisoner, and it turns out that this prisoner can make his consciousness jump into another person, upon his body's death. It's a bit like a Time Lord, I suppose, but whatever. So it's all about, who has he jumped into? And it turns out he's jumped into Julian Bashir. And then when he becomes, there she is. Hang on, I've missed her again. Never mind. I can't remember her name. She played Natoth in Babylon 5. I think it's her. Where is she? Yes, Julie Caitlin Brown. As Caitlin Brown, but yes, she played Natoth. So let me double check. because I could be getting this wrong. Yes, she played Natoth. In 23 episodes of Babylon. Was Natoth in 23 episodes of Babylon 5? Don't think so. But she played somebody else as well in Babylon 5. Maybe all the other episodes were that. I always wondered, Natoth were always in the opening, as one of the main cast. And she was hardly ever in it. But anyway, never mind. Might be the worst acted scene in all of Trek to me. The bit where he's pretending to be evil. Is that what you're on about? Haha. Unless you want to count his screaming from Move Along Home. That as well. He's a terrible actor, really, isn't he? Although he's good at sometimes. I would guess like 6 or 7 total. Yeah, that's it. You didn't see a lot on the Toth. But she made her presence known when necessary. Anyway, we learn he's jumped into Julian Bashir and he ends up commandeering a runabout or whatever. I can't remember. And he's up on there. He's been evil now. You can tell he's evil because he's all in shadow look and he's talking like this. I am evil now. Talking all like that. You want to listen? You want to listen to him being evil? You ready?
Unfortunately, he's not available at
the moment. Bloody awful. But I'm evil. Anyway, but they sort it out somehow. I forgot how. We'll find out in a minute. They get him back out. They stun him or something. I don't know. And they get it out of him. And they put the consciousness into a little machine thing, which she destroys. She says, "Right, he's not coming back from that, is it?" There we go. Oh, I've just missed it. I think she's just done it. Is it? Are you sure he's in there? Yes. Oh, deader. Anyway. Just go watch Warlord of Voyager if you want to see this sort of thing, but with Jennifer Lien. Or is it Lean? I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, she played a baddie a couple of times, didn't she? Both as Kez and as that one. Yeah. Because in The Fury, she were bad. You were bad, Kez, in that one, she. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that. So everything wraps up all nicely and no harm done. Apart from his acting. It's fun. It's a fun episode, I suppose. It's not too bad. It's but moving on. Establishing shot. What's next? Another. I don't mind this episode, to be honest. This is Move Along Home, the famous one. A lot of people say this is the worst episode of Deep Space Nine. I don't think it is. I don't think it's that bad. But this is where they're meeting their first official visitors from the Gamma Quadrant. Obviously, things have come from the Gamma Quadrant inadvertently, such as Tosk and all that. This is the first sort of like diplomatic thing from the Gamma Quadrant. Don't ask me what they're called. Does it say? The Wadi. There we go. And they don't mention the Dominion either, but never mind. Oh, the first, is it the Scree? Is that what they call them? The first mention of the Dominion. Or they mentioned before that, I can't remember. I think that's the season 2, isn't it, I think. But anyway. Pardon me. Right, so there they are in dress uniform, getting ready to greet these new people. But Julian has lost his... why don't you just replicate a new one? Julian said, "I'm sure I packed my dress uniform." So his all wooded look. Why don't you just replicate a new one? Or did the Cardassian replicators not have the pattern? I'll just program it in there. Whatever. Or maybe they're not allowed to replicate their uniforms, but unlike people in Star Trek Discovery, don't get me started. AKA, the prop department didn't have enough ready to go. I think it's just showing, that Julian can be a bit fuzzy-headed, even though he's a brilliant doctor and all that. Showing he's not infallible. Anyway, right, so the Wadi want to play games. That's the first thing they say. Where are the games? So they're taken to Quarks. So that Quark cheats them at whatever they're playing. Dabo. What? There's Dabo and there's Tongo, isn't there? What's the difference? I've no idea. But anyway. But Quark cheats them, so he says, well, we will play out his own game, and he makes this appear. So they're playing this game, and it doesn't really explain how it works, but for some reason, it takes the main cast, the officers. Does it? I don't know. How does it decide who to take? I don't know, but it takes Cisco and Julian and Dax and Kira. Is it just those? Is it just them? Or maybe Ode? I don't know, but takes those and puts them in the game board. It's like Tron. They're in the game board now. And they've got to, get through certain games. It's like the adventure game or the Crystal Maze, basically. That's what they're doing. If you're British, you know what I'm on about. Should have taken Primin, the Klingon chef. Or is that his name? Rom and some kid from Keiko's school. Yes. Oh, here we go. This is your favourite bit. Look, here, you ready?
Doctor! Ah! Oh, thank God!
It was so good in like Kingdom of Heaven and Game of Thrones. I suppose this was early. Maybe this was early in his career and he hadn't finished his RAD training. I don't know. But it's terrible. Oh, no, Primin is the not Eddington guy. Oh, him. Oh, right. The security chap. Oh, right. I can't remember the names. You know what I'm like. Yes, Lieutenant Primin, played by James Lashley. There you go. Yes. We don't see much of him, do we? I don't know. But, anyway. Oh, shush. Right, so they got to work their way out of this, but I don't know. Do they have to work their way out, or does the movements on the board outside, there we go, in Quarks, determine the outcome? I don't really know, but they've got to move along home. That's what they've got to say. Look, there's kids doing stuff, and you've got to remember all that. Look, and it's a puzzle. I was told it was only added as a replacement because Colum was unable to film an episode and they needed someone to fill that role. Oh, right. Well, Colum meaning not in that one. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway. So there we go. Anyway, so got to work the way out. But it turns out, think they're going to die. They think they're going to die. Look, they end up on cliffs and stuff. They end up on the Star Trek cliff cave set number 3. But it turns out that they're fine, but Quark thinks they're going to die because he learns that they're playing with real people's lives and all that stuff. He thinks they're going to die, so he's like, "Oh no, I promise I won't cheat again," and all that stuff. But it turns out they're in no danger anyway, and they reappear, and he says, "No, they're in no danger. It's only a game," and that's it. So there we go. And that's the end. And I presume they bugger off back to the. Doesn't that look like the Defiant from that angle? They bugger off back to the Gamma Quadrant. And I don't know. Do we ever see him again? I have no idea. Windgrace, do we ever see the Waddy again? I have no idea. But anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of Move Along Home, which isn't bad. It's not a terrible episode. It's not as bad as the Make Out. Well, I don't think it is. But it's not the best either. But anyway, it's not the worst. Don't ask me what the worst episode of Deep Space. The Muse. I think that might be the worst episode of Deep Space Nine. Anyway, moving on. That's not in season 1. Pause. The in-game stuff could have been much better. Yeah, but maybe they didn't have much money. But the problems with season 1, it's only 19 episodes, isn't it? So I don't know. Was there a strike or something? I don't know. But I'm trying to see if it says anything. I don't know. Season 1 had, well, technically 20 episodes, although Emissary counts as 2 episodes. But all the other seasons have 26 episodes. So why did season 1 not get as many? I don't know. But whether a writer's strike, or something, I don't know. But anyway, right. What are we on next? Next episode is what we just done. Move along home. Next is the Negus. I'm not a huge fan of Ferengi episodes, even in TNG and all that, and I'm not. And there's a lot of Ferengi episodes in Deep Space Nine, unfortunately. But anyway, the Negus. So this is where we learn a bit more about Ferengi society. Grand Negus Zek visits the station, and there he is. What's his face? Rex. It is Rex, isn't it? Rex from Toy Story. I forgot his blooming name. Hang on. I forgot his blooming name. Wallace Shawn. That's the fella. Wallace Shawn. Surprised you don't like him from your favourite film. Don't like who? Who don't I like? It's the Ferengi stuff I'm not a fan of. There's not any particular actor. The actors are fine. I like Wallace Shawn. But anyway. Anywho, it's Tiny Ron in this as well. Prince. Oh, yes, he is in that, isn't he? Yes, Princess Bride. Yes, he is. But we also see is that Tiny Ron behind him as what's his face? Hang on. I forgot his name as well. Malhadu, that's the fella. We saw Tiny Ron in Rocketeer, if you remember, last week when we did Rocketeer. Anyway, so Grand Negus decided he's not going to be Grand Negus anymore, and he's going to make Quark the Grand Negus. But it's all a ruse. He's just testing. He's kind of testing his son. The Grand Negus is testing his son, whose name I can't remember. Do we ever see him again? Can't remember. Is it Growl? I don't know. Could be. That name rings a bell. Just bear with me. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Pardon me. And is that? Hang on. Is one of the? Oh no, it isn't. I would say it's one of these. I thought that was Neelix. Kind of looks like him, doesn't it? But I don't think it is. So it's not mentioned there, unless it's not. Let me check the IMDb. All cast and crew. No, it's not him. I forgot who plays bloody Neelix now. I can't remember. I don't think he's ever mentioned again. Even mentioned again. Much like Martok's son being in one episode and then never again. Well, Martok's son, I can't remember. The one that punched Garak. And, Garak's saying, I got off some biting remarks. Well, that actor's died as well, hasn't he? I can't remember the name of the actor. Was that Martok's son? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, we never saw him again, did we? Anywho, where were we? Right, so he's essentially testing his son, played by Lee Arenberg. I think that's who his son is. Who's from the Pirates of the Caribbean films. He plays one of the chaps in that. He's testing him to see if he's got the ruthlessness to lead, and it turns out he hasn't, and they're all out to get each other because the Ferengi and the capitalists and all that stuff. They just want to kill each other for money, blah blah blah, and it all turns out that it's not Zek's not. I think Zek's died, hasn't he? Yeah, Zek dies, but he doesn't die really. It's all a test. And there we go. They see that he's still alive. In a minute. Oh, there he is. It was just a test. It was just a test, Quark. That's how he talks. But he's impressed with Nog, or Quark's impressed with Nog, because Nog were prepared, not Nog, Rom were prepared to kill Quark, to get the bar. But there we go. Brother. But anyway, whatever. Yeah. That's it. I skip Ferengi episodes for a reason. I'm not a fan of Ferengis, to be honest. They're fine for comedic interludes and stuff like that, but and we've got a few of them in Deep Space Nine. The Magnificent Ferengi and stuff like that. We've got Moogie to come yet, haven't we? Oh, God. Anyway, whatever. So that's that, the Nagus. Right. By the way, the Nagus is the leader of Ferenginar. That's where Ferengi come from, by the way. Ferenginar. Anyway, what's next? What's the next episode? Vortex is next. This is I quite like this one. Somebody from the Gamma Quadrant. Always somebody. I think it's somebody from the Gamma Quadrant. Is it? I think it is. Yes, it is. It's like a murderer on the run, and they capture him at Deep Space Nine. They're going to take him back. There he is. Take him back to the people on in the Gamma Quadrant. They're going to take him back there. So off they go. I think this is there he is. Yes, it's what's his name now? He's in Enterprise as well. What am I like with names? Oh, I'll tell you. Randy Oglesby came to me all of a sudden. Yes, it is Randy Oglesby. He's after the murderer as well, because I think he murdered his brother or something. But Odo's going to take him. It's my responsibility. They end up. There we go. They end up going through the wormhole, and then they chase after them, to the bad guys, and shoot them down. Essentially, they go through. There we go. They end up in a cave, and they go into a nebula. And have I missed the nebula bit? Oh, there it is. And then they end up on a planetoid that always just happens to have a breathable atmosphere, but fine. And we learned that he's gone there because his daughter's there in stasis. So he was, he murdered. He did kill somebody, but he was like running away, and they were being subjugated or whatever. He watched them murder his wife in front of her and all that stuff. So Odo lets them go. Tells them they're being killed or they're being destroyed. They come across a Vulcan ship with a dishy Vulcan captain. So that he sends them over to the Vulcan ship, saying they're refugees or whatever. So the Vulcans take care of them. We never see him again. Do they go to Vulcan? I don't know, but so there we go. So, all right. He went there, by the way. Odo went with him. Decided to take him because he'd said, well, he shows him that he's got like a part of a changeling. I don't know if it's one of Odo's race of changelings or another one, I don't know. But he said there were like a colony of them that he came across and they saved his life or whatever. And they have a distrust for solids. So it probably was Odo's people, but he never gets to find them. So anyway, so there was a little piece of a changeling or something in there or whatever. Anyway, so there we go. It's not a bad episode, is Vortex. It's not a bad episode. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Right, next up. What's next? Right. After Vortex, Battle Lines. It's this one. And I thought this was later on in the season, to be honest. This is the one with the Kaiopaka, and they go to that planet in the Gamma Quadrant. It's the first time she's left Bajor, I think. She comes to the station, and they show her the wormhole. There she is. But she says she wants to go on a trip through the wormhole, so they all hop into a runabout, and off they go. But they come across a distress signal, and they say, "Well, we can't answer it. We'll tell them about it when we get home." and somebody else can come and help them. But Chiropacker says, "No, go and help them." They'll say, "Okay, fair enough," because it's essentially they're carrying the Pope, aren't they? So they've got to be careful with the. They go to this planet, but they've got these deadly satellites that attack them automatically, and they crash, and Chiropacker dies. Oh no, she's dead. Is Chiropacker, and what's the face? Kira's look. She's what's the word? Desolated is the word, isn't she? She's sobbing and everything, but she's dead. Nothing can do about it. Anyway, they get captured by these Mad Max rejects. He's oh no, it's thing from Breaking Bad, isn't it? He's in Beverly Hills Cop as well. Jonathan, can't remember his name. Jonathan something or other. Let me check. Jonathan Banks. See, I do remember some things. By the way, check that. Camille Saviola as Chiropacker. Was she in Battlestar Galactica? I'm sure she was. Let me check. Filmography, Deep Space Nine. You know what? I don't think she will. It's not showing it on there, unless it's a selected filmography. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I must be. Anyway, never mind. Right, where were we? Anyway, we learn in this episode that they can't die because Chiropacker turns up again. And this planet, they're at war or something. They're always fighting with each other. And because of the something in the air or whatever, it's like nanobots or something, I don't know, that repairs them if they get injured. Because Chiropacker comes walking in, look, she's there looking alive. But if she can't leave the planet or she'll die. Julian's trying to work out, how to stop this from happening, but he's struggling with a solution. But Chiropacker decides she's going to stay with them because she's got no choice, really. But they try and mediate, being Starfleet and all that. The Starfleet officers try and mediate between the two warring sides on this planet. Oh, bloody hell, princess. Behave yourself. Try and mediate between the two warring sides, but it doesn't help. They're both as bad as each other. They both want to try and kill each other, even though none of them can die. Don't know if they just got blown into pieces, but all the bits come back together. I don't know, but anyway. But Chiropacker says, "I'll stay behind." So now they've got some explaining to do, I suppose, when they get back. But do they say she's stuck on this planet, or do they say she's dead? I don't know what they say. But anyway, they bugger off and leave her there. It's her choice. So off they go. And we do get a follow-up in a few episodes' time. They've got to work out who's going to be the new Kai. But anyway, so there we go. Battle lines. It's all right. It's all right. It's not the best. Did they do this just because they had to find a way to get rid of the Kai? I don't know, because they wanted to bring in what's the face? Win. They want to bring in Vedek Win, who'll become Kai Win. I don't know, but she's stuck because she's only alive with the nanobots there. Yes, she can't leave because he couldn't find a way, could he? Or did he find a way? But they couldn't come to terms, could they, with how to use his cure or whatever. But she decided to stay anyway. Why don't they just put her in stasis or hypersleep or something like that, or put her in the transporter buffer and take it? But anyway, never mind. She's still, as far as we know, she's still there. I don't know. Did they ever go back to it? I don't think they did. He found a way to cure only people who didn't die. Oh, right, fair enough. I can't remember. Anyway, so moving on. What's next? I'll tell you. Just a minute. What episode are we up to? Episode 14. Now we're getting... the storyteller. It's this one. It's not a bad episode. It's just a stupid story. It's about a storyteller. Because we never hear about, what else is going on Bejo. But anyway, never mind. Right. O'Brien has got to take Julian down to Bayshore to do something in this village. They've got some leader that's ill, and he's going to go and do something. I don't know. They're going down there. They've arrived anyway. They go down. He doesn't want to go. There's it should have had a random planet, not yes, it shouldn't have been on Bajor, should it? Should be somewhere else, shouldn't it? But anyway, somewhere in the Gamma Quadrant. But anyway, never mind. It's on Bajor, but he doesn't want to go because it essentially doesn't like Julian at this point. Is O'Brien, even though they become best friends later, but at the moment they're not exactly friends. But anyway, he goes. They arrive at this village, and their leader or whatever he is ill, so he's going to deal with him. Meanwhile, on the station, there's some more Bajorans doing some more mediating. Some Bajorans from one part of Bajor, and they're falling out with their neighbours about borders and a river and stuff like that, and movement across them, blah blah blah. And this young girl is the leader. Did I say so? She's basically what's her face? She's Queen Amidala, isn't she? She's Queen Amidala of these particular Bajorans. But anyway, she's acting all hoity-toity and feisty and grown up, but it turns out she's basically just a kid, and she ends up with them too and getting into trouble and all that stuff, and throwing porridge about essentially. Anyway, back on the planet, we learned that this fella that's poorly, there we go, there he is. Is he did he play the, I can't remember the name of the alien, when in the Nth Degree, when Barclay took the Enterprise to the centre of the galaxy or whatever, and that alien face appeared on the bridge. Is it him? I think it is, isn't it? But I can't remember the name of the aliens. Did it have a D in it? Might have done. Anyway, he plays the storyteller, and he's got to say these words I'm guessing in a particular way, and it makes this cloudy, weird thing, which is some sort of creature that just happens to be in this particular area of Bajor. Are they anywhere else on Bajor? I don't know. But anyway, it comes here and does. Is it like the crystalline entity? Would it destroy him? I don't know. But he says things and it goes away. And he does all, Ballard and all that stuff, and it buggers off. Oh, there you go. It's doing things. Oh no, it's them into. He says that stuff, and then from the people come the energy to send it away or whatever. There it goes. Look, but then he collapses and he dies, and look, it's blowing things up for some reason. But anyway. The storyteller. It's a manifestation from a random orb fragment or some crap. It doesn't explain. I don't think it explains it, does it? Does it? I'm going to check. It just says mysterious cloud creature. Oh yes, he's called the Syrah, by the way. Seer, they're trying to say, but they call it Syrah. The force is called the Dalrock. And is that all we know about it? I don't know. I should check on what they call it, Memory Alpha. Let's see what the Dalrock is. Memory Alpha, right? Go away. Search. I bet it doesn't work. I hate wikis. The bloody awful things. Dalrock. I better have spelt it wrong. Right. Dalrock was a mythical energy creature. It didn't look very bloody mythical to me. But anyway, from the woods north of a village on Bajor, which manifested itself for 5 days every year at the end of the harvest. Pardon me. Oh, right, you're right. The Dalrock was a manifestation of the fears of the villagers, focused through a fragment of an orb worn by the villager storyteller, the Syrah. Oh, right, so you were right, Winggrace. For many years, the villages have been torn apart. Blah 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 blah. Well, I'll just get rid. Well, what? I'll just get rid of the fragment of the orb, or bury it or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, whatever. Anyway, passes it on to O'Brien. O'Brien becomes the Seer, and becomes famous, and they all want him to bless it. It's kind of like their emissary is O'Brien. There you go. They're having fun and games on the station. This fella tries to kill O'Brien. He was supposed to take over from the Seer, and O'Brien says, "You can be the Seer. I don't want to be the bloody Seer." Anyway, she does her negotiations, and all that works out. And O'Brien is rubbish at being the Seer. Look, the Dalrock comes again and doesn't work. So he says, "You've got to do it." So he goes and does it. And it works. He becomes the Seer. Blah blah blah. End of the episode. Don't care. Crap. It is. That might be my least favourite episode. It might be. We'll see. When I get round to the Muse again, I remember I wasn't a fan of the Muse. But anyway, moving on. Storytellers are awful. I don't like it. Right, what's this one? Hey dear. Progress. Oh. Another one. This one isn't. No, it's not terrible. It's got some good acting in it. Progress. What's her face? Kira has got to go. They're getting ready for. They're doing something with the moon. They're going to tap into one of Bajor's moons. Don't ask me how many moons Bajor has. I don't know. It's got a few. They're tapping into the molten core of one of Bajor's moons for energy reasons. I don't know. To build wind farms. I don't know. But anyway, they're using this moon for the energy. So they've had to evacuate everybody. Obviously, there's just one farmer won't leave. So it's Kira's job to get rid of him. No stars at probably 47, and every one of them's got M-class atmosphere. Oh dear. Let's have a look, see what it says. Oh, it's got a few, because I remember them mentioning, like the 8th moon of Bajor or something like that. Bajor Star Trek. Right, Bajor, Memory Alpha. Right, how many moons has it got? Is it going to say? I hate wikis, I do. Bloody things. Does it say how many moons it's got? Just say, just. Wonder if Alexa knows. Alexa, how many moons does the planet Bajor have?
From Weebly.com. The planet has 2 moons.
It doesn't. It has more than that. I'm sure I've heard them mention like the 4th moon of Bajor. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to have to go back. Bajor. I'll just type in Bajor moons. Right. Gerardo, which I think is the one, the moon in this, is the 5th moon of Bajor. How many moons does Bajor have? There we go. Oh, it's got 5. Right, fair enough. Got 5 moons. Right. Hey, Earth has more than 1 moon, you know. But anyway, that's by the by. We're on QI. It's got at least 3 moons, hasn't it? But some of them are in like weird orbits. They orbit the Earth, but in a weird way. But and they're essentially just asteroids, aren't they? But anyway, where were we? So Kira's got to go and get rid of this this fella that's this farmer or whatever that won't move off the moon because it'll become uninhabitable. Meanwhile, this is one with Nog showing he's got lobes for business. For the moon is hollow and I have eaten a fry. I'm actually quite hungry. what we on about? All right, it's Lobes for business because he's got loads of is it Canar? Cardassian Canar. I think it is. Hang on, let me check. Let me check. He's got loads of something. I think not. Rom ordered too much stuff. Oh no, Yamak sauce. That's it, Yamak sauce. I knew it was something Cardassian. Loads of Yamak sauce that he can't get rid of. So Nog gets it and sells it to this captain or barters it for self-sealing stem bolts. So he's going through all this stuff trying to get rid of this this stuff that he ends up getting, and he ends up with a parcel of land on Bejor, doesn't he? He ends up with some land, which helps in some other way that I can't remember. But anyway, oh Pete's sake. Anyway, right. So he's got to deal with that. She's got to deal with this grumpy farmer who she kind of takes a shine to because he's this fella. So she feels guilty about forcing him to move, but she's under orders, and so she's got to force him to move. And Cisco even goes down and all that. And anyway, eventually, I think they do move him. Eventually, Quark ends up with that land, and not Quark. Nog ends up with that land. I can't remember what he does with it. I've forgotten. What happens? Bear with me. Oh, there we go. Yes, the government's trying to secure the land for a building project, and then he sells it to Quark for 5 bars of gold pressed platinum. Yes, it's something to do with that, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. Yeah, so and she there we go, he's there, and she destroys the kiln and beams him up to the runabout or whatever, and sets fire to his house and says, sorry, but you've got to. I don't want you to die, because he was prepared to stay there and die, but she obviously didn't want that. And they had a place for him on Bejor, but he didn't want to go because he'd been there for like 40 years or something. But anyway, yeah. It's all right. It's not a bad episode. Kind of poignant in many ways because she's got to do things she's not happy about doing, but it's for the best in the end because he's just been a stubborn old fart, isn't he, basically? But anyway. But, whatever. Next. Right, what's next? Let's have a look. Hey, that was progress. Oh, it's another not great one. If wishes were horses. It's one with Rumpelstiltskin, isn't it? Now then, I can't remember what's happening with this one either. I can't remember what causes it. Windgrace are going to tell me now. I only watched it last week. I've forgotten already. It's there's some life form that inhabits the station, doesn't it? Or something. Is it that? I can't really remember, their logic for how it works. I can't remember. But yeah, there's some weird life form that's like, it's merged with the station's computers or something. And it makes people's thoughts appear or whatever, which is how Rumpelstiltskin appears. Because Chief O'Brien is reading Rumpelstiltskin to his daughter. I'm going to show it in a minute. He's still trying to get into Dax's keks, by the way. There we go. So he's reading him, Rumpelstiltskin. Keiko does quite often look like a crazy lady, doesn't she? Not showing her, but there we go. Her expressions, so it's a bit manic at times. But anyway, so here we go. There he is, Rumpelstiltskin. It looks familiar. Who's playing Rumpelstiltskin? I want to know. Michael J. Anderson. Oh, right. What else has he been in? Oh, Twin Peaks. Yes, that's probably where I know him from. Twin Peaks. Of course. They're aliens who take the form of their imagination to learn about us. Is that it? I can't bloody remember. Which one is it where takes over the computers or something? Or is that this one? Anyway, whatever. So people, things start happening on the station. Things are appearing and all that stuff. There we go. Buckeye or whatever, who played for some London baseball team, man. In the 21st century. Anyway, they suss it all out. It's crap, basically. It's a crap episode. I hate it. See Quark's getting dolly birds. And they suss it out in the end. What do they do with them? Let me read it. The wishing outbreak continues until the emissions detected earlier form into a void near the station. It grows exponentially. Oh, yes, I remember this bit. Until Cisco realises it is part of the wish effect and will continue growing so long as people believe it exists. He instructs his crew that it does not exist and to stand down from alert status. The crisis is averted. So is it like Sphere, where they just said, it's not real, don't believe it? Stupid episode. Cisco gets his baseball here. Oh, is this where he gets his baseball? Honestly, don't remember that either, to be honest. They give him it. How come it didn't wink out of existence then? Is it going to give him it here? I don't know. Go on, let's have a look. I can't see it. Hang on. Where does he get his baseball? Don't know. Because they're real. That's the is that the twist? It's still a shit episode. Moving on. It is crap. Anyway, next. I think that's Windgrace's favourite episode. The Forsaken is next. Luxana Troy episode. I'm not usually a fan of Luxana Troy episodes, but this one's kind of sweet, I must admit. This one is really kind of sweet. Anyway, so here we go. What happens in this one? What happens in this one? Apart from Luxana Troy and Odo, but what's the story? Mysterious probe-like vessel. This is the one where it gets into the the station systems. It's this one. Column had to fight them to not have a leprechaun. But they still essentially didn't they? I mean, just not call it a leprechaun. Yes, I did. I remember reading that. Actually, I remember reading that. Anyway, I wonder how we felt in a few seasons' time. How Colin Meaney felt about singing Jerusalem with Dr. Bashir. With him being Irish, Jerusalem's a famous. Jerusalem is essentially the English national anthem, sort of. I wonder how Colin Meaney felt about that. But anyway, whatever. Where were we? Right, so Luxana Troy comes on the station, and there's a Bolian, and yes, Julian's got some diplomatic stuff to do. Got to take care of these ambassadors, a Bolian, a Vulcan, and some other woman. He's got to take care of them, and here's Luxana Troy, Majel Barrett, with pink hair. We learn she wears wigs in this episode. Anyway, this an alien probe appears and starts doing goofy stuff with the station. And all that stuff. And so weird things start happening. I think they just... Is it just stay? Yes, it just stays there, doesn't it? It downloads into the computer. There's this probe. But it starts doing wacky things, and Luxana and Odo get stuck in a turbo lift. Do they call them that? Do they call them turbo lifts on Deep Space Nine? I don't know. According to TNG, they had the Irish reunification, so Mars probably didn't care. That's true. In 20, were it last year or the year before? Something like that, wasn't it? Or maybe this year, I can't remember. Anyway, so they're getting in they get stuck in the turbo lift, and we learn. Maybe it's this one. We learn he's got to revert to his molten form every 16 hours, something like that. There is an episode that's coming later on. It could be season 4 or season 3. I can't remember. But anyway, where I don't know, they force him so he can't turn into, can't go back to being a liquid, and he starts all good, all rotting and stuff like that. But there is another one where he gets angry with Quark because he says he's been holding this form, and I can't remember for how long he says, but in this one he starts getting really ill because he can't resort to his liquid form. He doesn't want to in front of Luxana because it's a personal thing. But anyway, then he starts getting really ill, and he eventually does. And it's some nice scenes, with them in the turbo lift. We learn things. They learn things about each other. Look, he's starting to sweat now. Look, because he's forcing himself to hold that form. Pardon me. Anyway, so the alien virus, or whatever you want to call it, it's like an alien operating system, really. It merges with the operating system of Deep Space Nine or Terracnor, whatever you want to call it. And it's apparently it must be still there because they eventually, by the end of it, they think it just wants to be looked after. Apparently, so O'Brien says, "I'll give it enough to do, and I'll give it the care and attention it wants. Because if it doesn't get the care and attention it wants, it starts mucking about and stopping the turbo lifts and stuff like that, putting them all in danger." So he says, "I'll keep it occupied." So apparently they must do that for the rest of its existence. I'd just wipe it all. I don't have off-site backups. Just wipe it all, reload it. Anyway, so that's what they do. And Odo, turns himself into his liquid there. She says, "Look, I wear wigs. We're all hiding half it. We're all wearing masks and stuff like that." And it becomes a liquid. Goes into her dress. In a minute, hang on, where are we? There we go. Into her dress. So it's good she had a big flowing gown, isn't it? But it is kind of sweet. And she has a thing for Odo. She's in like a couple more episodes, isn't she? I think she's still much like she would after Picard. But I think she's more fond of Odo than she would of Picard. Picard was just a target for her to get her claws into. But I think she's genuinely fond of Odo. Anyway, so they sort that out, and everything's cool. And it is quite a nice episode, albeit a Luxana Troy one. So there we go. Next, but it's still got that thing, that computer thing in the. It's like on Discovery, isn't it? Not mentioning Discovery, but on Discovery where the ship's computer on Discovery ended up merging with the thing from the sphere, or whatever they called it. Anyway, never mind. Right, what's next? Dramatis Personae. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Which one's this one? Is this the one with the I can't really remember this. Which this one is? Which is it? Let's just go into it and see what happens. I forgot what this one happens in this one. Just bear with me. I genuinely can't remember this episode. I'm having a blank. I don't want to see it. Is it Klingons? Right, there's a Klingon there. They beamed him over, didn't they? But I can't remember what happened. Oh, it says victory, doesn't it? Yes. And I think he dies. But I can't remember what's happened. I've forgotten. Stuff starts happening. She starts giggling and stuff. And yes, the kind that, yes. And they all start acting weird, don't they? And getting paranoid and accusing each other of wanting to, kill the others and all that stuff. That's it, yes. And declare martial law on the station and all that. That's what happens in it. It's a bit like, I'm trying to think, did they do it in Voyager as well? A similar episode in Voyager, didn't they? When the Maquis and all that tried to take over and all that stuff. Yes, it's that one, isn't it? And only Odo is immune. It's something they brought, back from the Gamma Quadrant, isn't it? But I can't remember what is it. Energy spheres with telepathic imprints of an ancient power struggle that destroyed a race known as the Sultana. There we go. Bloody energy orbs. They're a pain, aren't they? Anyway. Kind of reminded me a bit. I don't know if the description or what. Do we actually see them? I can't remember, but I think this reminded me of them from the original series. Remember that episode when they're like brains in orbs, sort of thing. But anyway, whatever. I can't remember the episode. Anyway, Odo sorts it out and saves the day because obviously it doesn't affect him because he's a changeling, and he sorts it all out. And they all feel kind of foolish afterwards. There we go. Forces the energy things out of their brains, and it's a bit silly. I think they just go into space. He opens the airlock, and it goes out into space. And then what does it do? It goes out into space, and then what happens after that? Do they do anything else? Because they're all fine now, and they've blown it out into space, and it's just that's it. It's just gone, dissipated in the ether. Anyway, Cisco made a clock of some sort, and there's no idea what it is. But it is a clock of some sort. And that's it. That's the end. Yeah. It's okay. It's a bit like, as well, that episode in TNG where, is it Power Play? It's a bit like that one as well, isn't it? Where Deanna Troy, and O'Brien and Data. Is it just them three? I think it is, isn't it? Are taken over by them prisoners on that planet, pretending to be from the USS Essex, weren't they? But it's a bit like that, isn't it? Anyway, right. So we're up to the final episode, I think, of season 1. I do believe. Bear with me. I clicked the wrong thing. Actually, no, it isn't. We've got 2 more to go. This one's Duet, which is a good episode where a Cardassian comes aboard the station, and it turns out he's saying, he's not who they think is this murderer, like a butcher, it's like some. It's like a Nazi war criminal sort of thing. It's one of those sort of characters, and she's certain, that he is, who she says he is. There he is, and he says, "No, I'm just a lowly filing clerk. I had nothing to do with the He ran a concentration camp essentially. They call it like a work camp or whatever, labour camp." Where people got murdered by the thousands and all that stuff. The butcher of something or other, Galatep, the butcher of Galatep. Anyway, it is kind of a good episode because it turns out, yes, he is that man, and he owns up to it. Actually, no, he isn't that man. I've just remembered. He's not that man. He's had his face surgically altered to look like the Butcher of Galatep, Maritza, or whatever they call him. Guldahil, that's it. But his real name's Maritza, but he's pretending to be Guldahil because of the guilt this Cardassian felt for what he witnessed at Galatep. And he basically, wants to die or whatever, and all that. He wants them to be executed because of the guilt he feels. But obviously, they don't. But I think he does die in the end, doesn't he? I think, does he? Or do they just take him away? I can't remember what happens with him. Oh my, yes, he gets stabbed by this fella. That's what happens. Yes, he does get killed. They go this Bajoran stabs him. So I presume he'll go to prison now, but he stabs him and he dies and all that stuff. And it is kind of a poignant episode. This one of the better episodes of season 1, to be completely honest. Showing that not all Cardassians are bad. I mean, we know that because we've seen Garak, haven't we? But showing that some Cardassians do feel what's the word? Do feel sorry for what happened during the occupation. I'm trying to think of the word now. I'm blanking. Anyway, never mind. So there we go. So that's a good episode, his duet. Really, really good. Possibly the best of season 1, along with Emissary. Anyway, right, now we're up to the final episode of season 1. Oh, look, Jumja sticks. Oh, bloody awful. Don't know how to go on about them. Right, what's this last one called? I've forgotten. In the Hands of the Prophets. Yes, this is another good one. Because this is where we meet not Kai Win, Vedek Win. Who's one of the front runners, I think. Oh, pardon me. To become the new Kai. And anyway, so she's visiting the station. We see the school. We see that Keiko is teaching the kids. Look, it's got a full class now. Where all these kids come from? Teaching the what you up to? Oh. Look at her. Tell him, my cat's up to something. What you doing? Are you being adorable? She is. Anyway, where were we? She's teaching the kids about the wormhole, but in a scientific way. And she's saying that some Bajorans believe that it was created by what they call the prophets, but we call the wormhole aliens and all that stuff. And Vedek Win comes in. There she is, played by Louise Fletcher, in a great role as Vedek Win. Says she would be in it all the way to the end of Deep Space Nine. A villainous character. But she thinks she's doing all she does for the best reasons, but she's still a villain. But anyway, she takes umbrage at Keiko for teaching about the wormhole in scientific ways and not teaching them about the prophets. So she's saying, well, I'm not here to teach about, religion. I'm here to teach, facts, science and all that stuff. So anyway, it causes a bit of a hoo-ha. It forces the closure of the school, and Bajorans start falling out with the Starfleet people because obviously the Bajorans are very attached to their religion and the prophets. We also learn that this Bajoran engineer seems to have taken a fancy to Miles. Has she or whatever? But she's got an ulterior motive. She's not the innocent person she seems to be. Is she just getting close to him for reasons? I don't know. But anyway, all the Bajoran kids are taken out of the school. So Cisco goes to see Vedek. What's his face? Barial. There we go. It came to me. Vedek Barial. Who another one of the front runners to be the new Kai. And so he goes to see him. But it says, I'm staying out of this because it's becoming a political hot potato as well now. Anyway, so tensions rise on the station. There we go. Somebody blows up the school. Luckily, there's nobody in at the time, and all that. But she's obviously being villainous. She's cold and calculating and all that stuff, and that's famously in Deep Space Nine. She's the person everybody loves to hate. Is Win. What's her name now? I forgot her given name. I can't remember. Hey, bear with me. Adami, that's it. Win Adami is her name. Let's say she uses kind of cold religious logic in a way, that you can't get round, I suppose, because it's all about beliefs and stuff. But anyway, we see that that's her that's taking a liking to Chief O'Brien, but she's in league or in cahoots or whatever, or is ordered by Kai Wynn to do something. She's basically going to assassinate Bareil, either Bareil or Cisco. I think it's Bareil, I think. Bareil comes to the station. He's come to see the school and all that stuff. And so she's going to assassinate somebody. But they rumble it, obviously, and they go running down to the promenade. And there you go. He's pleading with everybody to, why can't we just all get along? But she comes. There we go. She's got a phaser or whatever. She's going to shoot somebody. But luckily, he leaps into action. Good job that nobody. She just shot that fella, didn't you? Looks like it, doesn't it? It's about as the phaser being bounced off her shoulder and hit him. I don't know. But anyway. So they stop it. And we know that she were behind it, but her plan is foiled. And anyway, so this is the beginning of Bajoran political / religious machinations, which carry on now, spill over into season 2, which we'll do in a bit. But yeah, it's a decent episode. Is in the hands of the prophets. It's all about religion versus science and religious politics and stuff like that. And there's a reason why in places like Britain and America you separate religion from the state, because as I said, it gets people's emotions running high, doesn't it? Even more so than regular politics. When you put religion in as well, it'll only cause trouble. But anyway, so there we go. So that's the end of season 1 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Ups and downs in season 1. I think there's more ups. There are more good episodes than bad. Don't like the storyteller. Don't like If Wishes Were Horses. But most of the others, are okay. But it's, we do get some nice backstories, I suppose. We learn a bit about Dax and Odo and Kira's past and all that. And it's nice to be away from the Enterprise, I suppose. We're kind of stuck in Bajor, but whatever. It's the way it is. But anyway, so there we go. So that's a Deep Space Nine. Got off to a pretty good start. Ish. But anyway, it only gets better from now on, I must admit. It only gets better from now on. So, right. So we'll leave it there and we'll get rid of that. Where are we? Ooh, there we go. Right. So that's season 1 over and done with. What have we got in season 2? What episodes have we got? Let me check. It starts off with a 3-parter, doesn't it? Season 2. Full of Bajoran political intrigue, which is all right. What else have we got? I'm just scrolling down. We've got Rules of Acquisition, so we've got another Ferengi one. Um, I know we get a mention of the Dominion in season 2, but I can't remember what episode it is. Oh, we learn about the Maquis. That starts in season 2. And the Jem'Hadar. That's season 2 ends. I thought that was season 3. No, it is. Yes, the end of season 2, in it, the Jem'Hadar. So there we go. So where's the scree come then? When's the scree? Which one is it? I have no idea. Oh dear. Never mind. Whatever. Right. So there we go. We'll leave it there. So that's season 1. That's season 1 of Deep Space Nine over and done with. As I said, ups and downs, but not a bad season, to be completely honest. And it makes a change. It does make a change from, the sterile adventures aboard the Enterprise. Even though we do love them, but it's not that warm blanket. TNG and for me as well, Enterprise are warm blanket episodes that, I don't know, are just kind of comfy and cozy. Deep Space Nine is never comfy and cozy, is it? It tackles those questions, doesn't it? Even political and religious stuff. It kind of shies away. Roddenberry. I don't think Roddenberry would have liked Deep Space Nine because of the religious aspect to it. Because he tried to stay away from it as much as he could. But anyway. But there we go. Right. So what's coming up next? What day are we on? Wednesday. Friday. For Friday Night Appointment with Fear this week, we're looking at Late Night with the Devil, which is a cool, not really found footage, but it's in the style of a TV talk. I can't speak. TV talk show. TV talk show. Where they're going to do an interview essentially with a possessed girl. So it's like The Exorcist on telly. So that's fun. So that's coming up on Friday, and on Monday for next week's Magnificent Mondays, because it's Easter. It's Easter this week, at least in the UK. I'm guessing it is everywhere. That people that celebrate it. So on Easter Monday, we're doing a James Bond film. I thought, yeah, fair enough. James Bond at Christmas, it's a British tradition. James Bond at Easter is going to be one. I don't know if it is, but it is now. So we're doing Goldfinger, the quintessential James Bond film with Goldfinger. So that's on Monday. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace, for keeping me company. Nobody else popped in, did there? I'll just check on Rumble, make sure there's no chats on Rumble. No, they're in. Right, so we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff as well while we're at it. And until next time, I'll say